For a big night, Aaron Donald or Tom Brady?
Oh, Greeny, I'm going with Aaron Donald. We know that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their interior, their offensive line, they've done some reshuffling, and you're going to do that against maybe the best player in the National Football League, and Aaron Donald, he's going to be bringing pressure right up the gut, and that's exactly where Tom Brady hates pressure, right up the middle. So I'm going with Aaron Donald.
Next up, Lewis, Cam Newton going up against Deshaun Watson. Who has the bigger day?
I'm going to go with Deshaun Watson because Deshaun Watson right now is playing as well as any quarterback in the NFL, and he's a guy who's playing in some adverse conditions, to say the least, down there in Houston. Now, if you talking about which team am I going with, I'm going with the Patriots because I think they're going to go on a run. I think Bill Belichick is going to do one of his best coaching jobs that you've ever seen, and he kicked it off 2 weeks ago against the New York Jets and then followed it up last week against Baltimore. But Deshaun Watson, look, you're a hero in order to perform down there under the conditions you're performing in.
No question. Neek, how about this one? Carson Wentz or Baker Mayfield head-to-head? Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going Baker Mayfield in this particular matchup. Obviously, I like Carson Wentz better as a quarterback, but I think the Browns ask a lot less of Baker, and that running attack is really strong. So I think Baker performs well doing less, and Carson struggles again because they ask him to do so much, and he expects so much from himself.
I like the way you put that. The fact that you said obviously, as though it should be obvious that Wentz is so much better than Baker. Well, just take a look at these numbers. Since Mayfield got drafted, again, onto a winless team, his stat lines are not that far different from Carson Wentz, including the records. All of it is nearly identical. Obviously, the biggest difference here is the contractual situation between the two, and for that, let's come out and talk. The biggest difference between these two is that Carson Wentz's contract says he's the quarterback of the Eagles for the foreseeable future. In Cleveland, Dominique, and we've talked about this a lot, they will have to make a decision after this season on whether or not to pick up his fifth-year option. The way it's trending, if you were making the call, Neek, what would you do?
I mean, I think I pick up the option because the unknown scares me, and I doubt that they'll be in a position to draft a quarterback. If they were really, really bad, then I would probably bank on going to the draft because it seems like that so many young quarterbacks come in are incredibly productive very early, but I wouldn't count on them being near the top of the draft to be able to do that. So you extend the fifth-year option, which just gives you probably next year and the year after with Baker, and then you don't make any long-term commitments, and maybe you look elsewhere because there will be some veteran quarterbacks available in free agency this offseason. But you go ahead and do that fifth-year option to secure someone who at least seems like a reasonable starter in this situation and is coming into his own in the Stefanski-based offense.
What do you think, Lewis? As the way teams are handling that fifth-year option now, we saw Chicago not do it with Mitchell Trubisky. It's not as expensive as it used to be, obviously, to keep these guys around. How do you see it in Cleveland there?
Yeah, I think, depending upon what their expectations are for the position, I think that will drive the bus on whether or not they go ahead and pick up the fifth-year option. Because, look, this offense is very much so trending the same way that you see the offense trending in Minnesota with Kirk Cousins, right? It's a very run-centric offense to where they don't want to put a whole lot on the quarterback, per se, as far as the number of times he's throwing the football. So I think given the fact that they have one of the most explosive running games in the NFL, does Baker really need to be a 350, 375-yard passing quarterback every week? Does he need to be a 4,000-yard per year passing quarterback? No, he doesn't. And if they're satisfied with the kind of efficiency, I think that's the key word, efficiency, that he allows this offense to operate with, then you go ahead and pick it up and you go ahead and move on down the road and build out the rest of the roster.
Are we getting any sense yet, Shefty, of what they're thinking in Cleveland long-term about that decision?
Well, a couple of things here, Greeny. Number one, as Hembo pointed out, every number one overall pick from 2011 through 2017 has had his fifth-year option picked up. So if the Browns weren't going to pick up Baker's fifth-year option, he would be the first draft pick, number one overall pick since before 2011 to have that happen. Number two, we're in a different year, right? This is a new regime in Cleveland where Kevin Stefanski has taken over as the head coach and Andrew Berry has taken over as the general manager, and they didn't get an offseason together, and everybody's getting to know each other. And so this story is still being written right now. They don't have to make the decision today, and they're winning, and they're competing for a playoff spot, which is something we rarely talk about in Cleveland at this time of the year. So right now, I think all systems appear to be on track.
It is worth reminding everyone, Baker Mayfield took over a team that in the previous 2 years had been 1-31. So all things considered, it has not gone that badly. Okay, here it is. It's time now for our Thursday staple. It is time for this week's wood-based pun. D. Wood, every single week we seem to change the name of your segment.
This is knock on wood, damn it.
Taking them to the woodshed.
Greeny, how is that possible?
Firewood.
Your soul is mine.
This week it is the wood pile. Chopped wood.
Excuse me?
Sour wood. It is Woodstock. A very groovy feature this week. The neck of the woods.
Perfect distillation of how stupid TV is, and I love it.
So every week we have a different wood-based pun for Damien Woody. Oh, look how sharp that photo is there. This week it is Hollywood. So D. Wood, the lights shine brightest, of course, in Hollywood, as we all well know. So who are you putting under the spotlight this week?
Yeah, Greeny, I'm going to go with the kitty cats of the Midway. I can't call them the monsters of the Midway anymore. They're the kitty cats of the Midway, because when you lose 4 in a row, lose 4 in a row, and your offense is on the Adam Gase type level, I can't give you monster of the Midway type of moniker for the Chicago Bears. We're talking about a team in the Chicago Bears, all right, that averaged 15 yards per drive against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, last time I checked, the Minnesota Vikings didn't have the purple people eaters over there, and you average 15 yards per drive against the Minnesota Vikings? All right? This is a team in the Bears that are 31st in offense in the National Football League. Guess who's 32nd? The New York Jets. So you're talking about a guy, Matt Nagy, who's an offensive coach of the year, who can't get right. I'm calling him can't get right. He can't get right with any quarterback. I don't care if it's Mr. Trubisky, okay? I don't care if it's Nick Foles. He just can't get right. All right? So right now, they are the kitty cats of the Midway. And Greeny, you're going to like this. You're going to like this, Greeny.
Yeah.
Right now, if we're going to project out, I'm taking the Jets' future ahead of the Chicago Bears right now. Yeah, Lewis. Don't roll your eyes, Lewis. Don't roll your eyes. I'm taking the Jets' future, long-term future, over the Chicago Bears. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have any assets. Their defense is the oldest in the National Football League. Yes, I know the Jets haven't won anything this year. So what? Yeah, go ahead and drink your water, Lewis. You can drink your water, Mr. Personnel Guy. But I'm telling you right now, I'm taking Gangrene's future over the Bears right now because they stink. The quarterback stinks. The coach can't coach up the quarterbacks. And I'm taking the Jets' future over what the Chicago Bears got going on right now.
Well, we can inject this conversation directly into my veins. I will tell you that. Lewis, go ahead.
Whatever, Woody. Whatever, man. You just sit. Whatever, man. Whatever. I don't even know what to say to you after all that. I mean, whatever, man. You just sat here and you blasted your team, the Jets, week after week after week after week. I've seen your Twitter. I love your Twitter. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put you on notifications now because I love your Twitter so much. And all you do is talk about the fact that this team can't get right. Listen, before you jump on the Jets bandwagon, you better answer this question. Who's coaching these players? Who's developing these players? Number one. Number two, I know they have a lot of draft capital and they have a lot of cap space in 2021. So they're going to sell hope to everybody in northern New Jersey and the New York metropolitan area. They're selling hope all over the place. The Bears got a lot of things going on for them in a positive way. I cannot defend the offense in any way, shape, or form. But the number one thing that's wrong with their offense is the position that you played, offensive line. And you know you can't do anything without an offensive line up there. I don't care who's calling the plays because they're terrible. But I'll just tell you this. The fact that you – wait, no, let me finish.
Hold on,
the fact that you picked the Jets over the Chicago Bears. Forget that. Hold on. I'm not even listening.
Lou, let me ask you a question here. Let me ask you a question. Even when the Bears had an offensive line, what the hell did Matt Nagy do at the quarterback position? Let me know something. Okay, he had an offensive line before.
When they had an offensive line?
Has Mitchell Trubisky ever been in?
When he had
Hold on.
What
was Mitchell Trubisky doing?
Hold on. When they had an offensive line, they won the division.
He's supposed to be the guy developing the quarterback.
They won the division, and he didn't draft Mitch Trubisky. They won the division, and he didn't draft Mitch Trubisky.
There's nothing I want to do.
Okay, so what? You can't. Some things you just can't look.
There's nothing I want to do less than interrupt this, but I did get applause, so I can do it. I can sneak it in. We'll leave it there. We'll put these guys in their separate corners. Dominique and I will continue to drink our drinks and enjoy the show. We will take a short break, and we'll be back in just a moment with much more coming up, including Kyler Murray saying he misses